We've had a very interesting afternoon of talks today. A lot of them have expressed humor. Roy recommended that we use humor, but I want to touch you on a much, much deeper plane than humor. So I want you to think for a moment of a place that you've gone or that you go to that has a most profound effect on you. So take a moment to feel that place. Because the place I'm going to talk to you about today has had a profound effect on me and my wife for 25 years. Feel how profound your place is. But let me describe my place this way. The seasons come, the seasons go, but still I hear the sound. As the prairie winds blow gently on Bear's Paw battleground. For in that place, so long ago, a way of life passed on. And now the winds cry softly for the souls of those who've gone. While standing on the hilltops, against the blue backdrop of sky, the winds repeat the question, why did the Nez Perce die? Was there some celestial reason we mortals cannot know? Shared only with the sighing winds as across the plains they blow. Though many years have now passed by, yet in that quiet glen, the winds still ache with sadness when they touch the hearts of men. For it's the one remaining witness to that tragic last endeavor. The winds once heard Chief Joseph say, I will fight no more forever. Just feel that for a moment. The year 1877. The location, northeastern Montana on the Snake Creek, 42 miles south of the Canadian border. 42 miles. The date, September 30th, 1877. What was happening? In the dark hours of the early morning, a contingent of U.S. cavalry was sneaking in and making their way to the top of these bluffs and hills that surrounded Snake Creek. To understand why they were making their way in there, we have to go back some 4 months. The Nez Perce tribe, under the leadership of Chief Joseph and Chief Looking Glass, were being threatened by the U.S. government that they were going to move them from their traditional lands onto a little reservation in Lapwai, Idaho. The Nez Perce were horrified at being moved out of their lands, but they knew it was a futile effort to try and fight with the U.S. cavalry. So Chief Joseph and Chief Looking Glass made the decision to take their tribe on a long trek. Their objective was to reach Canada, where they could hook up with Sitting Bull, the chief who had defeated Custer the previous year. These people began this trek. Some 800 men, women, children began the trek of nearly 1,200 miles. They went across 3 states, across Wyoming, across Idaho, and across Montana. They were pursued by a General Howard. During this pursuit, there was many skirmishes and many fights, and the Nez Perce gave a real good account of themselves. In fact, they gave such a good account that they thought we're far enough ahead of General Howard that we can afford to take a rest, because this fighting had taken such a toll on these people. They were hungry, they were cold, they were tired, they were discouraged. So, on the night of September 29th, they stopped on the bank of Snake Creek and set up camp, thinking that they had a day's grace to rest, catch their breath, and make their final push to Canada. What they didn't know, General Howard had sent word to Fort Keogh and asked Colonel Miles to do a forced march to cut these people off. The soldiers that were sneaking into place in the early morning hours of September 30th were the contingent under command of Colonel Miles. When daybreak arose, the battle started. For 5 days, that battle raged. Soldiers were on the high points, shooting down into the village. The Nez Perce had dug in, and they were returning as good as they were getting. On the morning of October 5th, General Howard felt such a compassion for these people. He sent 2 scouts across the battle lines. These 2 scouts offered Chief Joseph a surrender. Looking Glass had been killed in the battle, so the decision came down to Chief Joseph. He considered the offer, and he made a speech to his people. Fortunately, some of his descendants have that speech, and it's become a part of American history. But the final line in that speech, when Chief Joseph handed his rifle over to General Howard, he said, "From where the sun now stands, I will fight no more forever." And with that one sentence, as he handed that rifle over, a way of life passed into history. My wife and I go there pretty well every year, and there's actually an interesting reason. Because we have been adopted, we both have native names. The lady that adopted us, her name was Josephine Crowshoe. She and her husband were so well regarded that they have been awarded the Order of Canada. This lady adopted Shannon and adopted me. The piece that really ties it together is her Blackfoot name was Josephine Crowshoe. Her other name was Piukomunitapiaki, which means far away Nez Perce woman. She ties Shannon and me to that place because she was the great-granddaughter of Chief Joseph. Thank you.